Welcome to the Trap House Podcast. Thanks for joining us. If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe on all social media platforms. And now a quick word about our sponsors. We have Duke Traps with us. Check out duketraps.com. They manufacture over 40 different models of cage traps, coil and long springs, and body gripping style traps, as well as one of my personal favorites, the powder-coated dog proofs. Check out duketraps.com. Need a place to sell your fur? Check out Groenwald Fur and Wool Company. Over 50 years in the fur business, the largest and most experienced direct receiver of wild fur in the world. Check out their website, gfwco.com. Top Lot Stretcher Company. They have all the fur processing tools you need to get the job done in the fur shed. From push pins to wooden stretchers, they got you covered. Check out toplotstretcherco.com. And this one's for the ladies that don't mind getting their hands a little dirty setting some traps. We have Trapping Girl Inc. with us. Check out their website, trappinggirlinc.com. They have a great selection of women's apparel, kids apparel, baits and lures, and trapping supplies. Check out trappinggirlinc.com. J3 Outdoors. They make American trapping products designed for maximum trapline efficiency with products like the Hags Bracket and Spring Clip, as well as the Universal Lock and Beaver Rod ends. Get the tools you need to get the job done. Find out more at j3o.com. And there's only one true way to start out the day on the trapline, and that's with a hot cup of coffee from Trapline Coffee. They have great tasting blends to choose from, as well as chocolates. Head over to traplinecoffee.com for more. Wiebe Knives. Check out wiebeknives.com. They have a great selection of skinning knives, fleshing knives, fur handling tools, and they'll give you the edge you need to get the job done, and you guessed it, they're wicked sharp. Check out wiebeknives.com. And we'd like to welcome the newest sponsor to the team, No BS Lures. Don't let the name fool you. There's more than just bait and lure. This company offers trapline tools and hardware, fur handling supplies, and the No BS traps. Check out nobslures.com. And last but not least, Hoosier Trapper Supply, home of the Top Dog Predator Bait, Jet Fuel Predator Lure. We offer a complete line of trapping baits and lures, deer scent, trapline tools and hardware, fur processing tools, and special package offers. Head over to HoosierTrapperSupply.com. All right, welcome back to the Trap House Podcast. We got a great guest. It's been a while. We've got Mark Steck with us of Wiebe Knives. How's it going?
Well, good morning, and it's going well.
Good morning. You slept in pretty late there, buddy.
Is this really live? Is it live, or I mean, are people watching it right now?
Oh no.
No.
Oh, okay. So,
But this is being recorded.
right.
You know,
Yeah.
He's got a good point. It will come out at 10 o'clock in the morning Eastern time.
Right.
So I guess it is morning to most listeners.
Yeah.
So Mark, look at it this way. There's evidence.
Yeah. So, something. Yeah.
Yeah. But first of all, I do want to thank you for sponsoring the Trap House Podcast. So that goes a long way. And we love your products. Still use them to this day.
Yeah, and I appreciate it. I appreciate that. And you asked how I was doing. Well, I'm getting ready to leave on a rather lengthy 5-week trip, and it always gets hectic for me trying to get things done to prepare for that. And my wife Sandy is very good at it, and I depend on her. But still, I have some things to do, and I got to get things wrapped up at the shop here. So I'm not telling you I don't have the time for this. I do. It's just that it's kind of stressful. It's overwhelming sometimes if you depending on how long you're going to be gone for.
Oh,
See
yeah.
the phone's ringing too. You can probably hear that, but it's after 5, so it's 5:20 here.
Yeah. We're in the same boat. We're leaving here in a week, basically.
Yeah, we're heading to Texas to trap. We won't be gone 5 weeks though, but so we'll be gone a generous 2 weeks. And it is hectic, stressful to leave, to be gone that long, particularly this time of year, so.
I would see Charlie as the rock in terms of preparing. I'm not sure why I say that, but I just see him as not forgetting much and You know, he doesn't fly by the seat of his pants. And I wouldn't say Justin does either, but I would see Charlie as an organization as the leader of the two of you.
Is that true?
That's probably true.
I don't know. I forgot my pillow a couple years ago.
But that's horrible. Yeah,
Had to go
that's
to
a biggie
Walmart.
for me.
Had to go to Walmart and buy a pillow. It was like,
Well, I hope you got a good one. There's no
This is-
point in.
Yeah.
I go overseas, I take my pillow. I gotta have my pillow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so can you tell us where you're heading for 5 weeks?
Yeah, it's part of the filming for Wiebe Trapline Adventures, and so start off in Missouri, Matt Burson, and then in the boot hill of Missouri. Missouri has a boot hill that I'm now aware of. Loaded, it's kind of lowland, marshland, and so I'm going to be with Bart Hiller there, and he's trapping beaver and otter. He's got a buddy that's going to be setting for mink with him while he's trapping beaver and otter. Then headed down to South Carolina. Going to be with John Hubner. If you don't know who he is, I'm sure you've seen him. He always comes to the shows with Murray's.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Very knowledgeable of coyotes, extremely knowledgeable, and we'll find out what else he's knowledgeable of. But he's done coyote research. He is really a biologist, and he's been paid to trap. He worked for the feds, animal damage control, so that should be good. And then going to be with Red O'Hearn. I call him Red Man. And of course he's in Mississippi doing beaver damage control. He gets cats and otters and all that stuff too. And then there's one more guy in Arkansas, and I've never met him, but I've vetted him, and so I know he's a good trapper, and so that's the trip. 5 weeks, and hopefully we have. It'll all be fun, but maybe we'll go to Graceland or something like that. I've never been there. I'd like to go to Myrtle Beach. We'll be in the area of Augusta National, and I'm going to stop in and try. Hopefully, I can get on the course and play.
Briefly before you're escorted out.
That's
So,
right. You are a golf aficionado.
I've played golf since I was 13, and kind of obsessed with golf, and I know golf history. And I've had people say, it's a kind of an oddball pairing, being obsessed with trapping and hunting and being a golfer too. But I don't look like a golfer when I'm on the golf course. I don't wear woofy clothes, and I don't look like. I'm just trying to clarify that. I don't wear knickers, I mean, Charlie, he's a trained cook,
Yeah.
and he doesn't really look like a cook. I mean, he studied cooking in Paris.
Yeah.
And so we have these other sides to us. Yeah,
Yeah, we're multifaceted.
I'd like to think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, in one of the, I know you aren't asking many questions. My mind's just bouncing around here, but one of the things I'm gotten interested in, one of several interests, is animal tracks. And you might think, well, as a trapper, animal tracks, but until you dive into it, and I've been with some really good trappers, and I put them on the spot. What is that? And they know tracks of what they're trapping, but it doesn't go far beyond that. They know deer tracks because they hunt deer, and the animal tracks are never ending when you think about it.
Right.
There's so many dynamics. I mean, you take one species in the different conditions of the age of that animal, and the different conditions and the slope and all that stuff, sliding, soft mud, hard mud. And then you take let's say 100 mammals, and it never ends. All the dynamics, and so I'm kind of having fun doing that.
That's interesting because when we were with you several years ago on your snare line, you were questioning us about some tracks, and I never did figure out whether you were just putting us on the spot or if you actually knew or didn't know, but what the tracks were. But I think, I think generally most of us know our target species, and maybe that we'll know what a turkey track looks like or whatever. But in general, I think a lot of us kind of struggle with that too. So and it sure fits with everything we do. Makes things more interesting.
It does, and I've found that tracks are harder in deeper snow
Oh, yeah.
because you rarely get to the imprint. And some animal, well, within deer, for instance, some drag, some don't. Um, I know guys that can identify bobcat tracks on the run. Most can't, not in snow anyway. If you got a little skiff of snow, much easier. See when crossing the track, the road, and you can be 90% sure maybe, but in a lot of conditions, man, you can't be 100%.
Yeah.
And that makes it fun.
Yeah.
And I've debated. I do the same thing with almost everybody. I don't remember that with you, but I do it with everybody. And people, good trappers, they get a little nervous if they're put on the spot. They do.
Well, clearly I'm showing anxiety right now because of that past experience.
I hope you didn't go to therapy because of it.
It's traumatizing.
It was only 2 sessions.
So I'm having fun doing that. And
Yeah.
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 I love, I don't have way much of television. Well, I guess I do, but I don't use it, so to speak. But watching Wiebe Trapline Adventures online, finally got to see the episode when you went with us to Arkansas. I was kind of telling you about that, and it was pretty cool to see. I love watching yours because the sense of humor you put in there, especially in the intros. So
Yeah, well,
you just have too much
I
fun, is what I'm getting at. That's
yeah, and you guys are easy because if you we all have egos, but they're not big, and that's from the start of making my own videos. I was kind of knocking and having fun. People didn't know it, kind of poking the guys with the big cowboy hats and the belt buckle and riding tall and
Right.
and cold rolling, and so I just in some ways you probably can't even pick it up that I'm making fun of those guys.
So I've kind of noticed.
And I don't have any problem making fun of myself. And so that makes things a lot easier.
So are you okay with the Catholic Church, or are you on the outs with them, or
The Pope thing.
and well, you had a nun, and I think you've even had a priest on there.
Yeah. No, and I don't know what it is. I'm not Catholic. I have a lot of Catholic friends. I don't know what it is, but the one episode, the priest, he's blind, and he hits me with his stick, and I think it was on purpose.
I saw.
I'd like to get a rabbi on, and of course the nun, she's just part time. I didn't know you could be a part time nun, but so no, nobody's called me out about the Catholic theme, and there's not really a theme. I just come up with stuff I think is funny.
Well, life is a lot easier and easier to go through when you got a good sense of humor. So I appreciate that about you.
Yeah,
that reminds me of the movie, which is a pretty dark movie, $1 Million Baby, when Clint Eastwood's coaching this girl boxer. Hilary Swank. Anyway, he's like goes to mass like every day, or whenever mass is available, and he's just continually just needling the priest, and the priest and the priest finally one day just blows up at him. And I thought, and it was just this ongoing thing in the movie, and I think it was showing that he was wrestling with his faith, and whatever. I don't know what I don't exactly what was going on, but anyways, the priest just finally just lost it one day, and and had to just ask him why he was even there.
I might have seen that movie, but I played golf with two different priests, and they both know how to have fun.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure I've heard them curse.
I'm sure.
But I won't tell a nun joke when I'm around them. I tell everybody in the group no nun jokes,
This episode is going to get us flagged and canceled.
Oh, talk about flagged and canceled. You were saying about the monetization. We just got the notice too. We are demonetized.
YouTube, yeah.
The whole channel?
Yeah.
What in the world?
Yeah, the whole channel.
I knew this was dumb, honestly.
I'm not going to appeal it because I wasn't getting anywhere in terms of money.
Right.
I was working hard for $100 a month, and then it was starting to slide,
Mm-hmm.
and it wasn't really worth it. I mean, I can still post on there, and people can see the show, putting the show on there.
Right.
But where they can put their money.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, I think a lot of people think just because we have a YouTube channel or whatever, and we get a few views that it's paying very well, that it's not. I mean, there's, if guys that are getting hundreds of thousands of followers and millions of views, then they're probably doing just fine. But the rest of us, it's not.
Well, and I feel bad for those guys, some of them that were making a good living. And I don't know if they're going to do it to hunting, but all of a sudden that's taken away from you,
Yeah.
that pay. But for me, Chad, my marketer, he always said, don't put stuff on there for money, because do it to expose products,
Mm-hmm.
And you guys do that. I'm sure it's driven some sales for you, and
Sure.
public enjoys it. And if they don't have any commercials, which I hope they don't now, they should enjoy it even more.
Right. Well, that's just it. If there's commercials on there and they demonetize us, then there's something clearly is very wrong. So.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you are going to talk to a person. You're not going to call whoever owns that. You're not going to call them at home in the evening and talk to them. You're lucky to get a bot,
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Oh well, it's tough life wherever you go.
I knew that would come eventually. Honestly, how all this stuff seems to work, and I wouldn't be surprised one day that they're already pretty strict, obviously, but it can be even more strict. And I could see a spot to where they just won't allow videos with some sort of content like ours, and it's just not.
I could see it, and we have it's called Fur Taker TV, and I started that thinking that this was going to happen. And Fur Taker TV, that's on it's called Vimeo. They just host shows, and I don't know what they all do, but ours is like Netflix. I mean, you put and I have videos from a lot of different trappers on there, and then they get paid in some cases, or if I buy the videos from the trappers, and you can watch it with no commercials. It's $100 a year, and so you can watch Ray Milligan. Instead of spending $35, you can spend 100 and watch all these guys year round.
Right.
I mean, some guys don't even have DVD players anymore.
That blows me away. You're right. They don't. So how do people access that channel, Mark?
Just go to Furtaker TV and
Okay.
yeah. And you can see what's in there and you get an idea anyway. And there's some trailers and stuff. And, it's safe. And the reason I say that is this company, they host all kinds of sites and a lot of it's porn. I mean, they don't. Oh, well, you aren't going to go on my site. You'll see trapping. On a porn site, you'll see porn videos. But it's a hub where they don't. As far as I know, they don't have any say in what you put on there.
So there's essentially no censorship within the.
Not that I know of.
Yeah.
I mean, you're following the laws of the country and all
Right.
the states, but yeah, and we still even on there. I don't want certain things on there. I'm appalled at what I see on Facebook at times. Absolutely appalled.
Yeah.
And so it's just a constant nail in the coffin.
Right. Right. I agree. I think some of this originally started with social media was, a number of years ago, terrorists in other countries putting absolutely terrible things on YouTube and I think it was just turned into a
Yeah, beheadings and all that. They really,
yeah, and it kind of became a knee-jerk reactions, an understatement that, a lot of that carried over into, mainstream, mainline hunting, trapping, and that kind of thing, so, but.
So I know a lot of people. I've talked about this before, but well, Charlie, I don't know if I've told you this. I told Justin, but that Progressive commercial where the guy's trying to train people not to be their parents. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That's you. That's you. And
So
he's
we did a podcast with the musician Jim Reiser who traps. We did it with him, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks ago, and he says the same thing about me. So you aren't alone with that.
with that commercial.
No, with people thinking that was me.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. But he's got another side to him that spending time with you guys. Um, we've been on a couple adventures together, and I started noticing things like Charlie's driving on bald tires. That don't seem like Charlie. And then one time, and I called him out on this, his rear view mirror is missing. It was in the truck, but it's not connected to the windshield. And then I heard how it came off. You hit your head on it, or what did you hit, Justin? But Charlie was driving rather wildly, and
actually, it was like my knee. I'm pretty sure my kneecap hit the. That's how big of a dip he hit, and it threw me out and smashed up into the window.
I still haven't seen that side of Charlie, but I hear these stories and I start adding things up. Uh, so
I've been around about 20 years. I've seen a lot of stuff with Charlie.
So that I don't remember, Mark, if that was the same trip that you met us. I think it was. And you were there for a couple days and then you left. And then I think right after that the weather got super rough.
Yeah.
it did. It did. And
I pulled into a Forest Service road that they had that you could not see it at all. Ditch dug, and I pulled the truck in there, and I did have tread on my tires, and the bottom of the truck literally completely bottomed out on the edge of that that ditch. I mean, it was 3 or 4 days later after the storm. We're driving out of there one evening, and that's when my transmission pan was actually from that impact had worked to the point where it cracked, and we lost all the fluid and we got stuck out there. So that was a similar occasion that we had when we were in Kansas when Justin knocked the mirror off.
So, and I recall this thinking, man, I'm glad I got out of there, but I kept getting updates, because the trainee's out. And so you didn't have phone service, if I recall.
Yeah.
You're stuck in the woods, your transmission's out. Did Justin have any solutions for this to get out of this predicament? It's dark, probably got dark, right?
It was getting dark. It was, by the time we got picked up, it was dark. And pretty darn cold. We were just actually, both of us were kind of scratching our heads. We finally lined up a guy that we knew through Facebook that south of us that came in and rescued us. Shout out to Dalton Hopper. He was lined a wrecker up for us. So
this is Arkansas?
Yeah, because AAA, after an hour saying they'd get us out of there, they said, we can't help you.
Yeah, they gave up on us. They could not figure out where we were. Middle of nowhere.
So
but we had a trusty local that knew.
But you had gotten your traps activated again, right? And so you had to abide by the check laws, and your transmission appears to be out. At least you can't drive it. You know that.
Right.
So he came and got you? Is that what happened? Or?
So another friend from down there actually came and picked us up the next morning and ran traps. Took us out and drove us around. And he's actually one that we had kind of trapped with in the past down there. So
yeah, I forget what was on season, probably Hoosier Trapper Outdoors season 3 and 4. Maybe?
Yeah, we just met him down there one year and just became friends and kind of stayed in touch. And anyways, he came and picked us up and
ran
a
line
with him basically while the vehicle was getting worked on.
Yeah, and then we actually ended up having to rent a vehicle because that was on a Saturday and we couldn't, with logistics of getting it everything. So yeah, it turned into a fairly expensive deal, but
the transmission was okay.
It was
right?
Okay. They just had to replace that plastic cover, which clearly it was high impact plastic, but it wasn't high impact enough to withstand that ditch. But
so does Justin chip in on these things? Does he say, "Don't worry, Charlie, I got this one," and whip out his credit card, or what happens in these cases? Because it's stressful when all these expenses are coming at you. And so it'd be nice. I'd like to hear that he chips in some.
Yeah, I use my business card from Hoosier Trapper. It's through the business. It works.
That same storm, I didn't quite get out of it. I got stuck in Kansas City, and I just gave up and got a motel and spent 2 nights there. But the one day, there was like a McDonald's 150 yards away, and it was snowing and cold. And why I didn't walk to it, I don't know, but I drove over to it, and I got stuck in the drive-thru. And I was there for like 20 minutes. The McDonald's employees didn't seem to care that I was blocking off commerce, And finally, a guy on the outside of it, there's like a curb or something. He had a little SUV and he had a tow rope, so he got me out of it. But nobody at McDonald's really cared. Why I didn't walk? I was kicking myself. Why I didn't walk over there. Yeah.
Well, hindsight's 2020. That's.
Yeah. Yeah. But I was thinking about you guys during the storm, you guys sprung off your traps. And so
We did. We did.
You were in the motel room for 2-3 nights, right?
We were in one full day, then we went out the next day, and we couldn't do anything. There was too many trees hung over from the ice, the pine trees, and so we couldn't function. And it was starting to warm up. So we went back, and then the next day we went out, and you could get around, and we started getting stuff set back up. So, but
Did you get on each other's nerves during that downtime?
we actually do pretty well.
I know you do, but there's got to be a breaking point.
Yeah. No, we really.
Yeah. No, we actually.
We'll
yeah.
bring a book just in case, and we'll just read or watch TV, or Charlie likes the Food Network channel. So.
No, I remember we read books and just.
Yeah, there's nothing you can. The lifesaver for it is there was a McDonald's walking distance, pretty much in the same parking lot. So I go in there and hang out for 6 hours or so, and just keep drinking milkshakes like nobody's job.
Yeah, there's something about McDonald's food when you're bored that just hits the spot.
It's very
I mean,
it's very comforting.
yeah, it does. It is. Yeah. Yeah. You load yourself down with fries. Yeah.
So Mark, I guess this is a trapping podcast. Well, we're talking about a trapping trip that just kind of went awry. So
yeah.
And
I was going to ask you what's new in the Wiebe world. We got any new products coming as far as the knives?
Yeah. We've got boning knife coming. We got a couple really very effective. I could call them knife sharpening tools for idiots. I mean, these things really work. They're going to be $10, but they really work. I can't believe how good they work, and so every guy wants to be we all want to be a man, but nobody wants to admit they're not good at sharpening knives. They won't admit, oh yeah, I could sharpen, but let me see your knife, and it's just dull. And it doesn't. The one even sharpens a buck knife, which I found hard to sharpen over the years because the hardness of the steel.
right.
And so those are two products we've got coming out. It's going to be about 8 weeks before we have them here. I got some ideas. They're in the hopper. I've always got things swirling around in the hopper, and sometimes I don't notice them for a while, and then they come more prevalent. And I've got I don't know if I can say this on your show, some kick-ass ideas, and I'm pursuing them too. So I like the chase. I love the chase. You got to stay interested, and there's good days and bad days, but most of them are good days. I love coming to work here, and we're expanding as best we can into the hunting and fishing markets, but the kitchen market is not out of the question. That's where it happens. That's where cutlery is sold.
Yeah.
Well,
That's great. How many people you got working there for you now?
well, it's not as many as you would think. I mean, when I had Dakota line, we had up to 10, and I have there's 2 part-timers, a full-timer, and me, and then I do outsource with certain fulfillment, and it's when I had Dakota line, and we were at really a tough period of time in hiring people, and people were just churning the job market, just going from one job to another. And for years I had such good employees, and then it went bad. It was stressful, and that was my primary reason for getting out of snare building manufacturing. And so I have, it's really fun when you have employees that you can trust and they have common sense and they come to work. And so, yeah, it's really good. I mean, I'm 67 and I don't ever see you retiring. Charlie, you ever just gonna pull the plug and walk away, or is there gonna have to take something like bad health or something like that?
Yeah, no, I still enjoy coming to work and so yeah, no, I'm I'm going to stick it out as long as I possibly can. So we're the same
Yeah,
age. So
right.
the and just looking around the industry, there's several that are basically our age or just a hair older. They're just still going full force, So the trapping industry that
Yep.
I don't see anybody, looking for a exit essentially. So
Yeah. Of course, Justin, he's probably looking to go to, some foreign country there that's cheap to live, and he's got money saved, and he's kind of a hippie in some ways, a free spirit, maybe a free
Yeah,
spirit.
maybe.
Yeah, yeah. But no, I grew up working, and I know how to have fun as long as I can come and go, and I know you can, Charlie, and as long as I can come and go and not and have the place still operate, that's what I want.
yeah, yeah. So did we tell you that we put up a new building last year? Well, I guess it's been done since like March or so. So
I think you did, but I had kind of forgotten about it.
yeah, so we're
Hadn't been done since March.
March or April, wasn't it? I don't know.
Is it an addition? Is it an addition to the old
It's
building?
attached, essentially, but
Here, you want a tour? That's the new building. Captain Supplies.
I think I've only been inside once, so
yeah,
turn it again. Let me see it again.
you haven't seen this part.
Oh, you're filling it up. Oh, you got a tumbler in there,
Yeah,
and yeah, you're filling it up. So it's not a disaster area like some people. They'll put a new room on the house and it just fills up with stuff.
so
So
we actually kind of gave not the store per se, but the rest of the shop pretty much a complete facelift. So completely reorganized, and where we were doing taxidermy, there's no taxidermy done there at all, and so it's all kind of changed, become more efficient. So my point of all that is we're committed. I mean, we're not looking for an exit. We're committed to this business, so we intend to stay with it.
and I saw on Facebook, Justin, you were promoting or telling people about an event. I don't remember when it is. It looks like fun where you have musical bands come in and
Yeah.
musicians and it's somehow mixed with trapping, right? Or no?
I blend my worlds together. Yeah. The stuff I like, I
Okay.
try and keep. So I got a
Yep.
different podcast called the Coyote Radio Show. I wonder where that
Yeah.
name came from. And that's just musicians of all types, of different types of folk, country, bluegrass mixture. And they were a big festival in southern Indiana called Pickin' in the Backwoods. There's like 35 bands, 2.5 days, camping and all that. But and some of those bands, now that we have our rendezvous here at the shop, we've started incorporating. The past few years dabbled with it, but now we're getting more serious and having bands play here for our rendezvous days.
And that's like in
With the stage
September.
and PA system and all that. So it makes the day even better. We got good food, tailgaters, and good music.
When is that?
The last Saturday of September.
Okay.
You ought to come. You ought to come down sometime, Mark.
Well, it sounds like fun. I mean, I enjoy it. I like outside music. Um, yeah, yeah. If I, I suppose if I ever went back to Minktoberfest, that would be on the way. Actually, it's I like to combine trips, but um, yeah, it's a consideration.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll put you on we'll put you on the demo list.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Well, and that would be okay too. I do have one that I've worked on. It's nothing more than interesting people I've met along the way. Where trapping has just absorbed my travels over the years,
Sure.
and I've only done it once, but so yeah, yeah. If I come out, I'd do something. And there's a lot of things out in that part of the country going on that time of the year, and so it's not out of the question.
Yeah.
But I like hearing new bands. I've gone to a few folk festivals in my day.
Yeah, or come to Justin's Music Festival in August.
Yeah.
So
August 7, 8, 9.
So do you have hookups? We have a motorhome,
Out just right outside the area, there's another. We haven't talked to them yet, but the plan is we're going to be working with them for campers and mobile homes and things that people can hook up there. But as far as the festival grounds, it's primitive camping, very
Okay.
select electric sites, and those are usually for the food trucks.
Yeah.
So yeah, make it a weekend.
How about you guys? Any new products?
So I don't know if Charlie wants to talk about it, but he's got a really. I'm excited about it, but it's not going to come out for year 50.
so in 2026 will be the 50th year of Hoosier Trapper.
Wow.
So
Oh man.
I started at my senior year of high school. So I've got an idea. I'm not going to tell you what it is today, but I got an idea that some ideas for
He's got something in the hopper.
in the hopper for this 2026.
It's a long time, Charlie.
I know.
That's I mean
The
to
long teaser.
be to stay in business and be profitable and support your family. It's a long time.
I mean, there was obviously a number of times over the years where you're scratching your head thinking, what am I doing? But didn't have enough sense to quit or, whatever. So when when things crashed in the late 80s, it was pretty tough there for a while. So, but we're still here. So
1987. That's when the stock market crashed.
right.
I remember it vividly. I was out duck hunting and I got into my truck and I was all over the news.
Right.
And then the fur market went after that.
Right. And it's I mean, we've had some bright spots over the years, but really it's never been the same since.
Mhm.
So, but talking about music, Mark, how'd you like that Bob Dylan the movie?
Well, I'm a big Bob Dylan fan. I love the movie. I thought, have you guys seen it yet?
No.
Okay. I like Dylan's mysterious. And people say things, oh, he can't sing, you can't do this or that, but I'd say I'm a student of Dylan because he's so unknowable, and so I enjoyed the movie because they portrayed him as a little bit of an oddball and unknowable, and he's just interesting. I'd advise anybody to see the movie, and
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. Yeah,
the music is fantastic, and you see a lot of history too that they portray, whether it's totally accurate or not. You see some people in the movie that are playing this guy or that guy, and that they're important in the '60s music, and so I liked it. I'm probably going to go again. My wife Sandy liked it.
Yeah,
she's not a huge Dylan fan, but she liked it, and so
I know you've
yeah.
seen it. you've seen him in concert a number of times.
Yeah, it'd be over 25 times. And he's just a strange cat. I mean, people say, well, you can't understand his words, but that's not always the case. But sometimes you cannot. You don't know why he's doing it.
Yeah.
Um, he has a good singing voice if he wants to. He's totally unknowable. You don't understand what he's doing. His lyrics and musical arrangements are beyond belief, in my opinion. I would guess he's somewhat off the spectrum in autism or something like that. That's what I would guess.
Didn't he win a Pulitzer Prize for poetry?
Is that what it is? Is that the literature one? He won the one for literature.
Okay.
He won, and it's a big award. It's a very big award. No musician there has ever won it before.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't think it's Pulitzer, but it's one of those. It was in 2017, I believe.
I'm gonna Google it while we're talking.
Yeah,
'Cause I don't
and
like.
he's performed for the Pope a few times, and and nobody really knows him.
I think that's what I did. Speaking of the other podcasts I do with musicians, I had an interview last night with a guy named Casper Allen, which is a great writer, and he loves Dylan, and he thought it did. He knows so much history about the guy that he didn't go in with too much expectation because he didn't want it to be, he didn't want to look at it in the negative light if he had too much, because he knows too much. So if there was false information and things like that, it would drive him away. But he thought it was really geared towards a younger audience and people that don't know him per se that well, just know the name, but not his life and his story or his music even. Said it did a good job like introducing that to a newer audience.
I would
is
agree.
What he was thinking.
I would agree. And I would add that I think Dylan's music will live on, whether it could be like Van Gogh or Michelangelo. I think it'll live on. I do believe he's a genius, and he's got those genius type quirks that nobody understands.
Yeah. Nobel Prize
That's right.
in literature. So yeah, I was obviously off, but I knew it was major. So I mean that's impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, and I got hooked on his music when I was probably about 13, and I heard Positively Fourth Street, which is just full of venom. and and he's able to create this, I guess would be called a mood or a feeling. And I don't know how he does it, but this one was full of venom, and whoever it was about, man, he was letting them have it. And so I don't really understand it. There's probably certain weirdos that are attracted to Dylan music, but he certainly had a good run, It's over 60 years. And he's done he used to do like 120 concerts a year, year after year after year, and he's still on the road at 83. So he's just interested, and that's all.
I think he had come out with the Christmas album a few years ago. I remember one of the radio hosts here in Indianapolis says, when you want the guests to leave, you put this one on.
Well, that's the thing. He's never been afraid to make a fool out of himself, even in high school. And I met somebody that was at this. She was in his homeroom. But he performed at his high school, and he was just hammering on the piano, standing up and yelling the lyrics, and everybody was laughing at him, and the principal shut him down, and he didn't care. And he has said that he knew he was going to be, he knew he was going places.
Yeah.
He didn't care.
Yeah.
So it's a good story.
Yeah. So speaking of literature, Mark, you've written a book. It's just not to burst your bubble, it's probably not going to win a Nobel Prize, but
Oprah likes it. Oprah loves it.
did it make the Oprah Winfrey book list?
Well, it didn't make the list, but I know she likes it. I was told that second or third hand. So
And I mean this totally as a compliment, because there's pictures of you as when you were a teenager, young, in the book, and you actually look like Bob Dylan.
I did. I was told that all the time.
Yeah.
That black curly hair. I just looked like him.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Well, we like to listen to music when we're out trapping, and we'll be listening to Bob Dylan this year on our way down to Texas.
Yeah.
So,
well, maybe you get hooked. It's not for everybody, but that wouldn't surprise me.
yeah.
So what other trappers were you filming? Trappers prior to back in 2024 in the fall?
Yes. I was in the Adirondacks with George and Lori Keith. I had met them at the New York Trappers Convention, and hardcore trappers, especially George. Beautiful, beautiful up there. And he appreciates what he has in terms of his trapping grounds, and very hard worker. He's a year older than me. And then we were out close to New York City, which in fact, I'll tell you that I drove into this, me and Bob drove our pervert van into the city, right downtown, because I've always wanted to see Central Park. And so we went right downtown, and no real hiccups. And we explored Central Park, and we had a hot dog at one of the street vendors. But anyway, I was with the Gidneys, Zach and his mother, Laura.
Mm-hmm.
They're quite a trapping team, and they're really very good trappers. I don't think they see themselves as beginners yet, but they're not. They just exceeded 300 red fox this year, and they're within 30 miles of New York City. You can see lights, and they're trapping these little pieces of ground, and they're really good at it, and they have fun, and they've caught like 25 bobcats, and this is New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun being with them. And then Mark Zager came along too, and because, well, one reason he came is they didn't have a truck that could fit me and the cameraman and those two, and so Mark brought a truck up, and so we just had a good time, and I got to eat bobcat meat. First time for doing that, the back straps, and so it was good. It was a lot of fun.
So what'd you
So
think?
that'll be in the new season.
Okay. So you like the bobcat meat?
It was very good. It was like really good pork.
Okay.
Yeah, it was very good. Zach, he's 17. He cooked it up, and Zach himself is interesting. He's loves to trap. He's homeschooled. He takes Latino dance lessons. Him and his buddies, they go to a sushi bar. It's all you can eat, and they see how much they can eat. It just good, clean fun is what he's about. And they skin together. And what I am so blessed, and I praise God every day for all the friendships and people I know.
Yeah.
I've been very blessed that way, and so I keep adding these people into this big pool that I'm so fortunate to know. And you two are within that pool. I just I don't know why I've been blessed that way.
Yeah, you're fortunate. So
Yeah.
Laura's the treasurer for the Fur Takers of America. the national level. She's the treasurer, and both Laura and Zach attended the Trappers College last September.
That's right. Yeah.
So they weren't in my class. They were in the class 5, the very experienced trappers class. But so I knew both of them prior to that, but got to know them a little bit more that week. But yeah, they're clearly not beginner trappers.
No.
Doing very well. So
Yeah. They'll exploit every possible avenue for information that they could learn more.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, they've caught all these critters, but they still view themselves as learning.
Yeah.
So it's fun.
Yeah. I think clearly none of us know it all, and you kind of get to a point where it's that old saying, the more you know, the more you realize you don't know, so but on the other hand, on that level of success, I'm not sure that you need to know a whole lot more to have much more success. You're probably pretty much capitalizing on the ground that you have available. But
Yeah, definitely true. And one of the things that they capitalize on is they don't have to move any lights. They just, because these fox are filtering out of these urban areas,
right,
they never move. They run the same line for 2 months, and they may have a day where they only get 2, and then the next day they get 8. And they actually, I don't think they'll mind if I say this, but they were setting at, what do you call, Renaissance type fairgrounds. There's still people living there, and sitting right in the jousting ring or right next to it for red fox, and it's different. It's a different kind of trapping.
yeah.
Well, we'll be tuning in.
So they'll obviously they'll be on the show. Anybody else, Westfall?
I can't, I struggle with remembering. I went out to trap skunk, so that'll be one episode. I can't remember. I'm sorry. I just it's not bringing it up. My files, they squeak in and try and pull things out. There was somebody else, but I can't remember. So yeah, it's a tough gig going and watching somebody work on the trap line.
Sorry, are you going to trap yourself? You can trap some muskrats once the ice goes out?
We don't have many in South Dakota
Okay.
right now. I think I can find some way, way in the northeast corner. And if I do, it's going to be some different concepts that I want to try. I am finding, I hate to admit this, my legs are toast. My legs are gone. And that's why I quit trapping out west, because I couldn't walk out if I had to. And you hear people say that when they get older, but I never thought I'd get old. And so my days of running really hard are over. Maybe it'll be a new awakening that I don't have to do everything to the max. And
Yeah.
I've been doing deep knee bends, but they seem like they get harder every day. And I lifted a dumbbell last night, so I'm not giving up, man. Yeah.
When we were with you, I'm trying to remember what year that was. It was 2016, maybe 2017.
Probably.
It's been quite a while ago, but that area, I think it was the last year that you actually, last year, or the second of the last year that you ran the Big Coyote line, if I'm not mistaken. But
yeah, I would have run it again, and and then there was a point I had those tracks on my side by side, and I got stuck, and it was only 2 miles, but there was snow, which makes it harder. And I almost didn't think I was going to make it to the highway. I was only 150 yards from the highway, and I was thinking, should I start waving like that? Because I didn't know if I could get there.
Yeah.
And it probably has something to do with my heart. You know, I've had numerous operations and stuff, and but I don't really know what it is. But you just have to accept what you're given and be thankful for what you're given. And I knew at that time when I didn't know if I could make it, and the snow was deep towards the road, and I didn't know if I was going to make it. Bob's sitting there barking at me from the truck, and so that I don't know. I've had a good run, and I'm always going to trap, but it just doesn't need to be that high.
That was an impressive line, an impressive country, and and in the scheme of things, very remote.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't like you could just call AAA and get some help, you know. So
No, I still go up there. I went up there and trapped skunks, and I love the Indian history up there, and you don't know what you're going to run across. It's so remote, but I'm not going up there in rough weather. Those days are gone. And to trap bobcats, you had to wait until the day after Christmas, and so that I'd hang around for that. And I staying in the camper, and I paid the dues. I paid my dues, and I'm not going to press my luck. Well,
yeah, I don't blame you.
especially when there's no reward, financial reward, you know.
Right. At that time, the Kyle market was on the upswing, and you know it was okay. So
Yeah.
Well, Mark, I appreciate you jumping on and chatting with us.
Got any last words of wisdom for us?
Ah, no, I don't. I got nothing. I got nothing. I really wish you had told me you're going to ask me that.
I mean,
Here,
we have spewed.
I do have something actually, and I'm reminded of my good friend Red O'Hearn, who always has a story about his wheel coming off a vehicle. And he'll rag on people about tightening their lug nuts, and then they'll have it happen again. And sometimes they've been known to go a quarter mile and then go leave the road. And but anyway, so I'm going to leave you with this: keep your lug nuts tight.
That
How's that?
that's good advice.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Sage advice.
Yeah.
My next tattoo.
All right. Well, it's been a pleasure, guys.
Say, Mark.
All right.
All right. See ya.
We'll
Take care. We'll see you down the road.
All righty.